Ladies and gentlemen, the devil is in the details, because we have ourselves a revealed trade package for Winnipeg Jets goalie Connor Hellebuyck that might just blow your socks off. This is absolutely huge. It's been no secret that Connor Hellebuyck, Winnipeg Jets goalie, is being talked about in trades. Whether or not the Jets themselves want to trade this guy away, or whether or not Connor Hellebuyck himself just wants a change of scenery. The devil's in the details, as we said, but it doesn't dismiss the fact that Hellebuyck has been talked about. There have been packages for this guy. He's 33 years old, 6'4", 207, a left-handed catching goalie, signed till the end of 2031, making $8.5 million a year. Hellebuyck, in the eyes of most people, is the best goalie in the NHL. The only problem is, he's coming off of an .895 season in 57 games played, where he went 23, 23, and 11. Seems like more of an indictment against the Jets rather than Hellebuyck himself, especially when you consider he posted up a .956 save percentage in 5 games at the Olympics and won USA the gold medal. He's great, Connor Hellebuyck, in terms of the talent that he provides and the story of a guy that came up into the Winnipeg Jets system out of the AHL and who inevitably became one of the only heart-winning goaltenders this generation. But with that said, it turns out the Buffalo Sabres have been one of the teams that really tried to lock in and grab Hellebuyck for themselves. This recent article by Mrtka on The Athletic dives into the latest on Hellebuyck and the case for Winnipeg to trade up at the NHL Draft tonight. This was what was talked about in the Twitter replies. Ates gives an update. My understanding is the Buffalo Sabres' offer for Hellebuyck included the 4th overall pick, a roster player, and a prospect. But the Winnipeg Jets were unwilling to include the 8th overall draft pick. As much as I may think the Jets and the Sabres should be able to find a fit, my current expectation is that Buffalo keeps 4th and takes Malhotra if they can. And this is a monster trade idea. Oh my goodness. The 4th overall draft pick, that in which the Buffalo Sabres just acquired in the Bowen Byram trade from Chicago, is already in play. As if it's mind-boggling enough to have seen a top 5 pick get traded, something we haven't seen in over a decade. We could be on the cusp of seeing it get traded again? Depending on what happens over the next 3 hours before the start of the NHL Draft? This, of course, would have been huge, but I do find intrigue that the sticking point of the deal seems to have been Buffalo asking for the 8th overall pick in exchange. Let's be real with ourselves here. Giving up the 4th overall draft pick in a trade isn't the same as trading down 4 spots from 4 to 8. This is an entirely different set of parameters, and you could very well say that Winnipeg giving the 8th overall pick to Buffalo would be just so much extra value on top of Connor Hellebuyck, who is already arguably the most valuable goaltender in the NHL. This right here would be shocking, from 4 down to 8. And the Winnipeg Jets not wanting to do it makes a lot of sense in my mind, even though the rest of the package may have included some reasonably valuable assets, a roster player and a prospect, but the Jets were unwilling to include 8th overall. Jason goes out there and asks, do you think Hellebuyck would agree to come to Buffalo? I don't know, Ates said, but I think so. He's always said winning is top priority. I believe him. He re-signed in Winnipeg in part because he believed in winning here. Elliot Friedman has reported Hellebuyck prefers teams who could make multiple runs in the next 3 years. Buffalo fits, in my opinion. That and the Tage Thompson Team USA connection. It seems to be an underlying narrative surrounding all of these American trade ideas for guys that were on that Olympic team. For what it's worth, you had Marco D'Amico who went out there and said this: Buffalo got close on Hellebuyck, but I was told the ask from Winnipeg was too high. Could they circle back? Sure, but Winnipeg is looking for a monster deal. Buffalo put together a great package, D'Amico said. When's the last time a monster deal was gotten for a goalie? I find this weird. All of a sudden, a goalie is going to get a monster deal? Schneider with the 9th overall pick. Oh, gosh, that was 14 years ago? No, 13 years ago. Excuse me. Corey Schneider getting traded for the 9th overall pick was the last time a goalie went for one of these top 10 draft selections. Hellebuyck could have gone for number 4 if Buffalo wasn't so tight on getting that 8th overall draft pick instead. Obviously, the Sabres, y'all are getting potentially the best goalie in the NHL if this trade goes through, so I don't really see the value in trying to haggle down the price and try to get as much as you can. Like, we're trading away 4, you gotta give us 8 then. How about you just get another first-round pick next year? Y'all are very competitive in this trade front, but I guess that's Jarmo Kekalainen for ya. The Sabres are taking no prisoners, and as long as Marco D'Amico's going out there and saying, yeah, they could circle back, Murat Ates says that Hellebuyck potentially would agree to go to Buffalo. I mean, it makes sense, does it not? The Sabres need goaltending. UPL and Alex Lyon, sorry, but they're not going to cut it. Imagine Buffalo getting Connor Hellebuyck. I'd actually feel a lot more at peace with that rather than Florida, of course, because Florida's already a powerhouse. Just imagine everybody going over to Florida. Brady Tkachuk, Larkin, Connor Hellebuyck. Then Quinn Hughes demands a trade and he ends up going over there too. Everybody goes to Florida these days. Let's shake it up with some different teams. Please, please. But either way, if that doesn't go through, it seems like Buffalo might be interested in a Caleb Malhotra at 4th overall. That is, if the Vancouver Canucks do not end up taking him at 3rd, which at this point, it doesn't really seem all too likely. So, yeah, you can let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about that entire ordeal? But based off of what we're seeing, it seems like this 4th overall pick very well could get moved once more before the draft actually kicks off. Buffalo is willing to dangle it around. And if you think about the fact that they got it for Bowen Byram, I mean, that's where things get a lot more fun for Sabres fans who are totaling up the amount of value the team had heading into this offseason and where it's at right now. Buffalo's been doing some pretty good work, and you could say what you want about Connor Hellebuyck and their ask price being a little bit too high. But at the end of the day, all it takes is a little bit of compromise for a trade to go down. This is crazy, though. Winnipeg not being willing to include 8th overall, yeah, of course, they're already trading away Hellebuyck. Like, they could use 8th overall to get a number of other things that could actually help them in the now, rather than just trading down, instead of getting that 4th overall pick by itself. With that said, you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How do you feel about this Hellebuyck trade package from the Buffalo Sabres? It's big, it's beefy, it's juicy. We'll see if it gets revisited. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.